there, it's Beck and Deb, and this is the last in our How Do I Thrive series.
So as always, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Relationship School, which we are so excited about. And that was kind of why we made this series of videos, to kind of give you a taster of the sorts of things that we're going to be diving deeply into during the 8 weeks of live Relationship School. So if you want to know more about it, you can find out about it on our website, daretobeyou.co.uk. But let's dive in with today's question.
Yes. So how do I thrive in the current social media environment?
Oh, goodness me, that is a really good question, isn't it? I know, growing up and being a part of the society that we live in at the moment, it feels that we are incredibly pressured in all sorts of ways because it's so easy to get hold of people these days, isn't it? It's so easy. We all have our trusty phone not far away, and there's Facebook and messengers and all sorts of ways that we can stay connected, but also people can abuse social media in a way. People can be bullied over social media in a way that didn't happen when I was a young girl, so it can look as if it is incredibly difficult to thrive in the society that we live in. But the one thing that I can kind of see is that, when I was a girl, my mum would look and kind of go, oh my goodness, things have changed so much, and now there's all these things going on, and my children are up against this, and I looked at that when my children were growing up, and I can see my daughter with the new baby, with my grandson who's now 12 months old, kind of looking at the world she now lives in with social media, and kind of go, how do we deal with this? And so I think although social media has never been around, every single era of parenting has had its own things to deal with. And what I will say is that what I have learnt about life is that human beings are wired to thrive. We are designed to thrive in the world that we live in. And whatever that world is that we find ourselves in, there are no exceptions. We are designed to thrive here. But it feels like it's almost like life is a bit like a game of snakes and ladders. And so, or maybe an obstacle course or something like that. But I don't know if you know about this, and I know I've said this before, but the game of snakes and ladders itself is weighted in our favour. So if we continue to play, we are going to reach square 100. We are going to win. And I think, life, the obstacle course of life is designed in such a way. Yeah, we're going to have to use our wits. We're going to have to look and see what it is we're up against and work out great ways of getting over today's obstacles. But what we have got going for us, every single one of us, with no exceptions, is that within us we have been gifted, and sometimes those gifts are hidden within us, but they are there for us to find, to uncover. We have been gifted with everything that we need to get over these obstacles that are put in front of us. And I think a huge part of being able to do that is kind of looking with that knowing, coming from a place where we know that is true about us. And for me, that is where this understanding that we share, that we have been talking about in all of these videos, and that we're going to be talking about way more in Relationship School and in everything that we share, pointing yourself in that direction, beginning to understand that, means that you come at life knowing about this spark that is within you that will allow you to uncover your gifts and thrive no matter what, even with social media doing all the things that it does. I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, bless you.
Do excuse me.
Yeah. So what comes to me when I sort of start to look at something like a social media situation, or even all of the things we've talked about in this video series, is that we are very good as human beings at kind of coming up with something that might be a problem in the future for us, that we kind of say, okay, so social media as a tool is actually extremely helpful. Probably a lot of you watching this wouldn't be watching this if we didn't have social media, because you probably wouldn't know about us. That's where most of the people that connect with us come through. So it's an incredibly great tool in that way. And then what we can do is go, okay, so social media can do this or could do this, or it could be a problem here. And we start to create a problem that doesn't actually exist right now. And then what we do is kind of drive ourselves crazy trying to find the answer to a problem that doesn't even exist yet. And we are not designed to work that way. We are designed brilliantly, but that isn't how the design works. And we actually work that when something is in front of us in this moment now, we are designed to know what to do, how to deal with that, what the right thing to do is. We have this sort of innate guidance system, our wisdom, that knows what to do when a moment is here in front of us. We're not so great at guessing the future. Like, that's an incomplete equation. It's like, what's 2 plus question mark? Come on, what's the answer? I don't know. Do you know? We don't know. We can't do incomplete equations. But in a given moment, whatever's in front of us, we actually do know how to deal with that. Like, the fact that you're even here now kind of shows that you've got through 100% of whatever life's thrown at you. You know, that is how this works. In a given moment, we know what to do. We can trust our innate system to guide us. And so for me, when we kind of look at things like social media, it looks to me like we're creating it into a monster that doesn't even exist yet. And if it does, if a monster actually is there at some point in front of us, we'll know in that moment what to do. We can trust the system we are a part of. Exactly like Deb said, I was already thinking about the snakes and ladders as she was talking, and then she comes out with it. So I have to come up with something else. But even that is an example of, Deb said something that I kind of got in mind as, that's a good example I can use. And then when it came to my kind of turn to speak, something else came. Because I know in those moments that I can trust my guidance system to give me what it is I'm meant to share. But exactly like in that example that Deb shared, we are geared to kind of go through the ups and downs of life, but we've actually got this guiding hand that helps us get to square 100 if we're prepared to be open and trusting and listen to it. And even if we don't, all that we're going to have is a slightly more uncomfortable experience of life where we're kind of kicking and screaming against the system. But actually, whatever it is, you know, in all of the topics we've covered quite a variety of topics in this video series. But actually, in every one of those video series, what we're talking about, you could swap the titles around. And actually, what we're pointing to would be kind of the same. Because what we're saying here is that we are designed to live the moment that's happening now. We're not designed to be able to predict the future. We have like this kind of slightly analytical part of us that likes to think we know what the future will hold. So we have, you know, we make plans and we think about things, and if it happens this way, then all that. But when the actual moment itself arrives, we just know what to do and where to go. And the only thing that kind of trips us up is if we believe a thought that says that we don't. I won't know how to handle that in that moment. I won't know what to do if social media, if someone puts me on social media I don't like, or if my child's bullied on social media, I won't know what to do. But actually we do. There's something in us that knows what the right thing to do. And sometimes we have to take a breath. Sometimes we need to take a moment and go, what is it I know to do here? But we do know we are being guided. Life lives through us in the most incredible way. And the more that I have known that and looked for that, the more I see it, you know, and whatever environment it is we're talking about, you know, we've touched on abusive relationships, we've touched on being single, we've touched on physical health issues, mental health issues, and now kind of the social media environment, and anything else you can think of. Whatever that is, if we're making up a future problem, we won't have the answer right now. We can even convince ourselves we do sometimes, and that's pretty clever, but we won't until the moment arrives, and then we can trust that we will know how to handle whatever that is.
And the only thing that can take us away from that moment, because the other thing that we're quite clever at doing is living in the past and being scared about the past. And sometimes, you know, we can be in a moment and be overwhelmed with some thinking that is telling us that we don't know what to do. But one of the things that Beck and I have noticed quite a few times with some of our clients that we've been speaking to is they're in a particular moment busy telling us that they don't know what to do, and then in the same sentence they start coming out with some amazing things to do, and they haven't even noticed that they have those amazing answers to hand. So we can so trust ourselves.
We absolutely can. So we really hope you've enjoyed these videos about how to thrive no matter what's going on for you. Actually, we are wired and designed to thrive in life. And as we've mentioned a few times, because we're super excited about it, we have got Relationship School coming up, and hopefully these videos have been a really nice taster of what that might include. And if the videos are enough for you, that's perfect. There's absolutely no kind of, you know, you're not obligated to do anything at all. But if you are interested in finding out a bit more, joining in with some more stuff, we do have Relationship School starting on the 6th of April. What can people get from Relationship School, Deb?
Well, we've got some amazing offers to get into Relationship School for a very good price at the moment on our mailing list. And once you are in Relationship School, certainly this time around, we're going to be doing it now in April. It's going to be 8 weeks. We're going to be live in Relationship School. But once you have signed up, if you want to come back, we're going to be doing it again in September, and you can come back and join us then, and you can join us as many times as you want to for one time signing up. So that's one thing, you're going to get lifetime access to me and Beck doing some amazing things. And then we've been having some fabulous interviews with just some amazing people, and all of those interviews are going to be in Relationship School. We're going to start putting them in the next few weeks, so they're going to be there for you to watch. What else are we going to be
I was just thinking, what else is there? So much, it's too exciting.
All the relationship handbooks.
We've got a relationship handbook for you. We've also got some key videos that we've put together that for us is the absolute kind of pinnacle of what this understanding is. There's also some frequently asked questions, so a little bit like these videos you've been watching, particular questions around relationships that we know other people are asking. And during the 8 weeks, all of that content's available right now as you're watching these videos, but from the 6th of April, the actual live part of the school includes 2 calls every week with us, where you get to kind of come and hang out with us, ask questions, we'll share some thoughts on a topic, and then there's also a forum in the school where you can ask questions if you've watched any of the videos or something just comes to you that you want to ask us, and we can kind of be sharing answers back and forth as a community. So it's all about kind of getting people together that are really wanting to look in this direction to find the answers within, because we are our own best teachers.
We absolutely are, yeah. So, and as always, we're going to be having a whole lot of fun. We would just love to have you join us. So if you do want to find out about that, you can find out about it on our website, daretobeYou.co.uk, and we would love to have you join us.
Yes. Thank you very much for being a part of this week with us.
Bye.
Take care.